play.
The freaking game. In my opinion, that sucked. What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Welcome in to Rookies Roundup, LA to Chicago. I'm here with co-host Jake Liker and Carl Mogline. I'm from Chicago, where there's like a foot of snow, so it's not the greatest atmosphere in the world, but I am ready for the playoffs. Jake, Carl, I'm pretty sure you guys are warmer than I am. How you doing? Jake?
Oh, hey, sorry. Okay, I accidentally muted my computer. I'm good, and I'm ready to talk about some playoffs, and I'm excited for a crossover episode, actually. I mean, we got 22 episodes of Rookies Roundup. It's about time.
Yeah, and Carl, how are you doing?
I am doing pretty good, and yeah, it's a little warmer than you are, but not that great. I was in LA, and then I got home 2 nights ago. I'm walking out of the airport, and I'm just like, oh, I miss good weather.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain because it's not like -5 like it is going to be in Green Bay, but it's still pretty cold. So, Jake, Carl, it's going to be an exciting playoff day. So, Jake, how about you kick us off? What is our first matchup that we'll be discussing today?
I feel like the first matchup we should talk about tonight is the first matchup we're going to see tomorrow between the Colts and the Chiefs. If you ask me, this is going to be the closest game. Carl, your opinion first.
My opinion first. Well, this was one of the actually easier games for me. The Colts have been an impressive team, I personally think, and I don't think the Chiefs have been nearly as impressive. The Chiefs already lost to Indy this season. Whenever the Chiefs play strong teams, division winners, they seem to falter. So I've got the Colts coming out on top. I think Andrew Luck comes through with a playoff.
Okay, and for me, I look at the teams, and I see two very talented teams. The Colts, obviously phenomenal. They played great. I mean, great against good teams, except for that game against the Bengals. Every team they won, and you saw the Chiefs against the Colts, and I think that is a little bit of a sign of what we can expect to see from the Colts. I expect a Colts team that has played well against all of the good teams, and what we see in that game was turnovers. The Colts came out and they played great. 4 turnovers by KC, 0 for Indianapolis. So that really shows you what? These are key. Turnovers are key in this game. I think the person that wins the turnover battle will win it, and for me, that is the Chiefs. The Colts, not bad.
Rue, first of all, before I go any further, I realized that I forgot to shamelessly self-promote myself, and I kind of need to do that, especially since we finally got a Twitter after months of promising. Follow us on Twitter now, at Rookies Roundup. Follow me, because I really tweet a lot more than the show itself. At Jake Liker, Facebook page, Rookies Roundup. And you know how to follow National Sports on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. And with that, now that we have finally gone through all the shameless self-promoting, also you can call into me, I guess, at 310-922-9536. Now that all that's out of the way, I'm going to use the exact same reasoning as Noah and pick Kansas City. Talk about the team who wins the turnover battle is going to win this game. If you look at turnover margin, Indianapolis had a great turnover margin, 3rd in the league with plus 13. Second, however, is Kansas City at plus 18. They're great at turnovers. The way they win, it's not flashy. Expect something. I don't think anyone's scoring more than 1 touchdown in this game. A pick 6 here, a Dexter McCluster punt return. Niall Davis gets into the end zone. Jamal Charles does. The problem with the Colts is they're not consistent enough for me to actually trust them to pick them to move on. I picked them last year to beat the Ravens, and they burned me big time. Is this going to be the Colts that beat Seattle, San Francisco, Denver, and the same Kansas City team 2 weeks ago? Or are we going to face the Colts that gave up 40 to the Cardinals and lost by 30 at home against the Rams? And they also lost at home against the Dolphins. I don't have enough faith in the Colts. I think Kansas City too much on the line. I think they're truly a better team. Defense wins championships, or at least in this case, playoff games. Kansas City wins the turnover battle, and they win the game 31-20.
I think they have a great shot. I think they're a great team. But, I mean, we saw it last game. You see, are we going to see the game? Are we going to see the team showed up against Cincinnati or the team that showed up against more than one team, may I say? San Francisco. That is Seattle. That is Denver. That is Kansas City earlier. Those are four of the best teams in the NFL.
Kansas City is one of the best teams in the NFL.
Yes, I agree, but I'm going to say that too, but I think that Colts are going to win. Obviously, I have a lot of respect for KC. I've loved what they're doing, going from a 2-win team to an enormous playoff contender. But I think that Andrew Luck has what it takes. I think this Colts team has what it takes. And you're right. We don't know who the Colts are. They are an unpredictable team. But I like what I've seen in the Colts this year. I like what Andrew Luck has shown me. I like what they've done against good teams. And I expect a close one, but I expect Indy to win, and I expect them to win the turnover battle.
I just don't feel like, I don't think either side can feel confident about this. But look at, the Colts are facing Jamal Charles, and they the 26th run defense in the league. They are 21st in rushing yards alone. The only thing that they're even in the upper half of the league in is opponent passing yards allowed per game, and that's 13th. That's not going to cut it in the playoffs. Yeah, they've come. The last good team they faced, which was Cincinnati, they gave up 42 points. When they face good teams, it seems like their problem is their defense, and Kansas City's going to be able to get right through that.
I mean, I understand that you think the defense is a problem, but look at. I'm going to go right back to the last game against them. You said they're good against passing, and they are. 153 yards, 16 of 28 for Alex Smith, and a pick. That's a horrible game.
No, I said they were terrible at passing. They're 26th in opponent. 13th. Sorry, never 13th. Mind.
I thought that was the one thing they're good. I thought the running was bad. And you're right, 106 yards rushing for Jamal Charles and a touchdown. That's not what you call great. But at the end of the day, the Chiefs could only put up 7 points, and that was due in some part to turnovers. But the Colts have so many weapons. Donald Brown has really stepped in and been phenomenal. And Trent Richardson may have found his niche, finally, as just a goal line guy. Please. Just a goal line back.
Richardson's only good for one thing, and that's X-rated films online. And let me tell you something. They have not even been released. This guy does not care about football. He's busy with other stuff. This guy isn't going to lead his team to a playoff. Carl, please tell Noah why he is wrong.
I've already said this before. Indianapolis wins this game. You're saying they're a bipolar team, but recently they've been on an upswing. A win over Kansas City. Obviously, 42 earlier, but I just see them pulling out the win. This is a team that their stats don't look amazingly impressive. 17th in passing yards. 20 impressive on the stat sheet. But I'm looking at a team right now that is 11-5, won their division. These stats do not tell the full story with Indianapolis. You need to look at stats that truly look into this team.
And
Andrew Luck is not. Andrew Luck's a much better quarterback than the 21st quarterback in the NFL. This offense is much better than I think anything you can say with that. And then you look.
So you would take. Hold on. You would take an experienced playoff quarterback like Alex Smith, coupled with arguably the best running back in the AFC in Jamal Charles, and say they're not as good as a sophomore
I'd rather take Andrew Luck.
As a sophomore quarterback in Andrew Luck.
But, okay, here's what you're missing. What you're saying about Indianapolis, how their defense isn't that good. They only allow 21 points per game. That's 9th in the league.
Okay. Jake, you're big on stats. You're big on numbers. So, how do you explain a 1-5 record against playoff teams that made it to the playoffs this year for Kansas City? Is that just dumb luck? Did they just feel like losing 2 to Denver, 2 to San Diego? And I give you the second San Diego game. They did bench a lot of people and lost Indianapolis. They don't show up against good teams at all. They don't show up at all.
At home. At home. If you look at what they've done at home, I think that maybe they've got a case of the Pittsburgh Steelers in the old days where, they take something for granted and they don't go as hard. I don't know how to explain that, except for perhaps they think that they have a home field advantage and they don't really go after it as much. But on the road, and this game is a road game, I'd like to remind, they are 6-2. Their only 2 losses
Come to playoff teams.
have come against, no, not just any playoff teams, have come in Denver. And I'm not willing to eliminate a team because they lost in Denver and in San Diego with their B team and with a controversial call by a field goal in overtime against San Diego, whose season was on the line. And that was their B team.
Okay, so if we are now doing this home and away, the Colts, at home, they have played great. I mean, they've lost a couple, and they've lost 2, Miami and St. Louis, but against the good teams at home, they have won. Against the good teams away, they have won, except for Cincinnati. And, I mean, Arizona is a good team as well, but they are playing at home where they defeated Seattle, where they defeated Denver. Those are debatably the 2 best teams in the NFL, and a lot of people's picks to go to the Super Bowl. So I think that at home, Indy has an advantage.
They lost to Miami. They lost to the
second game of the year.
When Richie Incognito and Jonathan Martin were on the same offensive line.
Yes, but here's the thing.
And they beat the Raiders by 4 at
but
home. It took a come-behind victory to beat the Raiders at home.
Jake, you're ignoring the fact that this Chiefs team, since a Week 10 bye week, they have been a terrible 2-5 in their last 7 games. The only win coming over Washington and Oakland. They've been weak. They have not been a good team since Philadelphia in Week 3.
Okay, San Diego's their kryptonite. And Denver and Peyton Manning.
You cannot pick a team just because they only lost to their kryptonite. This is a team with another.
I would pick San Diego.
You're trying to tell me.
San Diego.
No, you're trying to tell me these stats about how Indianapolis's defense can't hold. Kansas City's defense is 25th in passing yards allowed. 22nd in passing yards allowed. This 25th in passing yards allowed, that's not going to hold up versus Andrew Luck. That's not going to hold T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton will shred up this defense.
Oh, I haven't even mentioned the words Dwayne Bowe yet.
Was an argument? Really? That guy?
I'm saying that
Jamal Charles was the leading receiver on this team.
Exactly. How you don't? He was
because he was already Oakland, and Dwayne Bowe has been injured.
Kobe finished 70 yards less than him. That's a tight end finishing 70 yards less than your leading wide receiver.
T.Y. Hilton is better than Dwayne Bowe. You don't convince me of that. If you're talking about receiving cores, the Colts win this. And again, this is a close game. I'm not going all out and willing to bet my bottom dollar the Chiefs win. This is probably the game I'm least confident in. However, if you're tired of me throwing numbers at you, then take this. The Chiefs get this extra chip on their shoulder in this game. They're a team that everyone has doubted. Even when they were 9-0, they weren't getting credit. This is led by Andy Reid, who was kicked out of Philadelphia. People thought he couldn't coach anymore. This is Alex Smith, who had to be kicked out of San Francisco because he got injured at the wrong time, which I still think was a terrible move, by the way. And now he gets to come back and prove that he is worthy in the National Football League.
Did you say having Colin Kaepernick take over as the starting quarterback was a bad move?
I felt like No. Hindsight's 20/20. But if it was me, that move to Alex Smith. It turns out picking Cap was the right move.
Should call it disrespectful. If you have a player who's going to help you win a football game, that does not mean that they should be sitting on the sidelines because of some form that seniority is the most important thing. The most important thing is winning football games.
Who said anything about seniority here?
Well, you're basically saying because Alex Smith had the position, he needs to keep it.
No, I was saying because Alex Smith was doing a very good job at that position.
But Colin Kaepernick was better.
Not at the time.